In early 2001, when I was 7 years old, one night my life changed. I knew that there was more to this world than the normality. I knew that jinns existed. I knew the paranormal was real. And overnight my life changed. The way I looked at life changed. Everything changed. I lost relationships. I fell out with people that I love and care for. And it's changed the course of my life. And this is that story, and I'm going to tell you today. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is going to be a crazy story, and this was submitted by you, one of the subscribers. So if you do have your own story and you like to listen to jinn stories in a casual format, then this is the channel for you. So make sure you like and subscribe. But without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. When I was 7 years old, my life was pretty normal. My earliest memory was riding a bike, and my dad teaching me how to ride a bike. But I was the only child. I never had any brothers or sisters, so I got a lot of attention from my parents. I got a lot of attention from them. I used to get what I wanted, but I used to always feel lonely. Like I saw like other people had brothers and sisters and friends that, you know, they stay with and play with, but I didn't really have anyone. Until I met somebody, and this person or this child was same age as me, and we used to play all the time. Like, he used to come round my house and we used to play games, and we used to laugh and joke and giggle. And my parents, every time I used to play with this friend, they'd always look at me weird and they'd start laughing. But they never gave me any reason to be any sort of like suspicious or anything. But they used to always say like, oh, when's he coming, when's your friend coming over? I was like, I don't know. And then my friend used to come over like probably like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock every single day. Like, I used to see him roughly around that time. I remember looking at that time, and I used to wait for him to come. And he used to come, and he used to always come through the back garden instead of the front garden. So I found that a bit weird, and I used to always ask him, well, how did you come through the back garden? And then he used to tell me like, oh, don't worry, my house is just around the side. I used to jump over the fence. I was like, okay, no problem. So we used to play games, and we used to play like hide and seek and that kind of thing. And I was 7 years old, so I do remember him quite vividly. I remember his face. I remember the funny faces that he used to pull when my mom and dad were shouting at me. And one day when I was 10 years old, so I've been seeing him for like 3 years now. Like, he just never came back. He never came back. And I asked my mom and asked my dad, where is he? Like, can you speak to his parents and that? And my mom and dad used to always tell me, yeah, he's gone away now. He's gone away. He's not going to come back. He's not going to come back. He's moved and that kind of thing. So I thought nothing of it. I was upset that he was gone, and I was a bit sad about it. So anyways, it is what it is. I went to school. I made new friends. Slowly forgot about my friend. And then when I was about 15 years old, I spoke to my mom and dad, and I was just telling them, oh, do you remember that friend that I used to have? I was thinking about him quite recently, and I was wondering if you got any way that I can get in touch with him. Like, me and him were very close. And then at that point, my mom and dad, they sat me down and they told me that that friend wasn't real. He was imaginary, and that they never actually ever saw him, and that every time that he used to come and play with me, like, it was always me playing by myself. I was shocked. I didn't even know what to say. Like, I was like, nah, I'm sure he's real. Like, I'm sure you got pictures and stuff of us together and that kind of thing. And they were like, no, like, he's never been real. Like, we've actually never seen him. I was shocked. I was lost for words. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react. Like, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I've seen him. And they were like, no, he never existed. And then I started thinking about it. I started deep in the situation. I was thinking to myself, like, okay, how can I prove that he was real? So I started figuring out, like, or trying to figure out ways that I can prove that he was real. Like, did I play anything that required, like, did I play football with him? And I was like, no, I didn't play football with him. So when I kicked the ball, like he would have kicked it back and that ball would have moved. But I don't remember actually playing football with him. The only games that I really played with him was like hide and seek and that kind of stuff. Nothing that required any movement from him or him physically moving anything else. And then that's when it kind of dawned on me. I was like, wow, I actually had an imaginary friend. Like, you hear about that kind of story, but like, I was like, wow, I didn't think nothing of it either. So fast forward to just before COVID, we started doing work extension on our house. And when we started doing the work extension on our house, so basically the layout of the house is, so as you go in, you've got the living room, and then on the right hand side, and then you've got the passageway, you've got the dining room, just another door that goes into the dining room, and if you go straight further up, you've got the kitchen. And then what my parents wanted to do is they wanted to do an extension in the back to move the kitchen further back and have another dining room where the kitchen was now. So what they did was they knocked over in the garden, where the garden was, they built an extension. And while the building work was happening, I never really went to the garden. To the extension to see the building work. I'm a person that has never liked DIY. I kind of stay away from that kind of stuff. Around 2021, the kitchen was completed and we started using the kitchen again. And sometimes I'd see weird things in the kitchen, but nothing concrete. But all of a sudden, what happened was, one day I was coming home late after work and I came into the kitchen and I switched the light on and I saw something that changed my life forever. I saw a man and a woman and 4 children in my kitchen. The man, the woman and the 4 kids looked directly at me when I turned the light on. They were staring at me. I asked them who they were. They wouldn't answer. They were staring at me. But then one thing I noticed completely shook me to the core. I saw my friend from when I was younger. He was the same age, roughly about 7. Same height, same hair, same face. The only thing difference was he was looking at me, not in a friendly manner, but with aggression. He was staring at me like he was upset at me, like he was angry at me. His whole family was. And for like 2 minutes, but what felt like so long, they were looking at me. I was talking to them, I was answering them. I was like, who are you? What are you doing in my garden? What are you doing in my kitchen, sorry? And they wouldn't answer, they wouldn't talk to me, none of them. They would just stare at me. I was home alone that time. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to get out of the house. I'm going to go. Because I knew for a fact they weren't human. So there's no point me calling the police. I knew for a fact they wasn't. And I don't know how on earth I did not react in any other way. I was calm. I was relaxed. I could feel my blood pumping, but I kept control. Somehow, I don't know. I left the house. I went in my car. I phoned my mum and I phoned my dad. They came home about 20 minutes later and I came in the house with them. There was no one in the kitchen, but I explained to them what I saw. And I explained to them that I saw my friend from when I was younger. Immediately, my parents said to me that they need to find a mullah. A mullah is basically an Islamic mesab or a teacher in Islam that will specializes, or Iraqi that specializes in supernatural entities and encounters. So when I arranged an appointment with this mullah, he told me that he came around the house, he done a ruqya, he slept on it, he seek guidance, and he said to me that, and he said to my family that the thing that's inside the house lived in the garden. His home was the garden. And when I was younger, the jinn interacted with me. And he told me that it's not a spirit of a human or anything like that. He told me it's a jinn. And he said it's a family of jinns that lived in the garden. And this family of jinns that lived in the garden, when we done our extension, and we had to cut this tree down, which we thought nothing of. It wasn't even a big one. It was a small apple tree in the garden. We built over his home. We built over the jinn's home, and what is our kitchen now was basically their home. And then the mullah said that the jinns are upset and they're angry that you built over their home, and we need to somehow get them to diffuse from you guys and let go of their anger and get them to leave. What happened was the jinn started affecting me. It started affecting the way I was with people. The jinns would start whispering things in my ear, and I changed as a person. So between 2021 and 2023, I completely changed. I became different. I became distant, and it was so gradual to me that I didn't even notice it until other people were telling me. And any relationships that I had, I was told that the jinn doesn't like me being in a relationship. I was told by that the jinn wants to stay with me, and it doesn't want me to be happy. It doesn't want me to be in a relationship. And as it stands, that's kind of how it is right now. Like, the jinns still affects me. It's still affecting my house. I don't see them like I used to during COVID times or just 2021. But I know they're there. And sometimes things happen in the house which just reminds me that they're still there. And that's the story, guys. And this was submitted to us by a subscriber that wants to stay anonymous. For those that do know who this person is, I'd like if you could please not mention any names in the comment section. And thank you for listening to another jinn story. I hope you could learn anything from it, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much and take care. Bye.